Hey, what's up YouTube? This is a short video tutorial series for people looking for a workflow to go from MakeHuman with the MakeHuman Exchange plugin over to Blender and use the MakeClothes plugin they have over there to prefab some clothing for a rigged character, and then take both those things over to Unity, throw them together, and show you how easy all this can be and how quick it all is for us. So before I get started, I just want to make some shout outs to the MakeHuman people. This program's awesome. If you don't use it for your general just models, you're missing out for sure. It's awesome. There's a million different options you can do with it. Mainly, just making anything that you can possibly think of: male, female, baby, old, and also doing random stuff with the geometry, such as the topology, like really generic stuff. Maybe a muscle bound kind of deal. That's pretty cool if they put that in there. That would not be easy to model, I'm sure. So but for this tutorial, the only thing that you need is to go to the pose animate. This is where the rig presets are, and we are just going to pick game engine. This one works best with Unity. It imports properly and everything, whereas I think the facial model one works too. I'm not sure, so I just stick with the game engine. Go over to files and click your export tab, and so in the description of the video there will be a series of links that you're going to follow just to put these plugins into MakeHuman and the add-ons into Blender to be able to complete this workflow. Everything just takes a couple seconds. You got to just copy paste folders into add-on folders basically, and everything usually shows up. So once you do everything properly, follow the instructions, you'll have the MakeHuman Exchange deal here on your mesh format options. You'll be able to click that. What I do is meter. That is the closest to like a 1-1 in Unity that I found. So that's what I pick. 1-1 meaning like when you have your square when you instantiate it. This is pretty close to that. So if you want to do anything bigger than that, do a decimeter, I guess. So then export it somewhere you can find it. That's it. One note about the MakeHuman Exchange plugin is that you can bring into Blender a model that has advanced animation rig attached to it. And what that means is it just has like really big controls. It makes everything really obvious, and it makes it super easy to do hand animation on a model basically. So check that out. Go to their website or whatever it is, and read all their documentation. It's super cool and super useful. You wouldn't want to drag that into Unity because it wouldn't be useful there, but it's definitely something you could keep in Blender, animate a rig with that you have, save those animations, bring them over into Unity, and then use them on just the regular dot blend or FBX that you're going to end up using for your character. So anyways, export that, and then inside of Blender you're going to go up to File, and if you've done your add-ons properly, you'll be able to come down here to Import, and there will be a MakeHuman Exchange file, and do the MHX2. Click that, and then just like I said, bring in the model that we just made in MakeHuman. And after that's all said and done, you'll be in object mode. It'll bring in your character that looks like this. Your character will have all the textures attached, I believe. I'm not going to put mine into there just because it's really detailed. So we'll do N. Just for, I'm not sure what this is, like a properties panel or whatever, but this is, make sure you're in object mode, nothing selected or anything. And if you did your add-ons right, you'll have MakeClothes version 1 point whatever it is, and you'll go in here and you'll pick whatever mesh helper is going to be closest to what you have. So I'm going to do average male with helper since that's what we have, and load the human mesh. All right, cool. Now we'll back out a little bit. Since it's a lot bigger, we'll go into, beforehand, we'll go into tab, go into edit mode, and using the scroll wheel, we'll go over here and pick materials, go down to what is going to be the tights, and select those. And then we're just going to press P, parent, and separate by parent, which is just, I'm just saying that so you kind of jar it to memory, but press P and then do selection. and then press Tab to go back into object mode. Press A to deselect everything. We'll just right click this what's left over, press X and delete it since we don't need it anymore. Now, since it's a lot bigger, you want to make sure, I think somebody said, and I'm not sure if it's true, you want to do everything in edit mode when you're like resizing or even moving something. So we'll scale this down quite a bit. What I usually do is try to put like it center when I'm doing the MakeHuman to Blender kind of deal with the clothing, or the MakeClothes plugin. And then I'll do scale to scale it, and I'll scale by the Z axis, which is the up and down, I guess. And then I'll scale by the X axis, which is left and right, per se. We'll do a little bit more. And scale by the Z just a little bit up. Okay, not looking bad. Maybe I should bring that down again. Okay, so from here, before I get too far into basically like fixing this mesh, going in and making it work, if anybody's watching this video that is just looking to see how they can attach their piece of clothing, let's pretend the base mesh isn't here anymore. Oop, wrong click. And they just want to attach their clothing, that you're not worried about, you know, getting them to form to each other and all the other Blender tricks that we're going to go through in the preceding videos. All you have to do is what I first do is I click on the rig or skeleton, whatever you want to call it, and then I go into object mode, and then I right click the object that I want to attach to the rig, and I shift right click the armature, and then you do Control P, and then you're set up with your armature deform setup. So what this means is with empty groups, you're going to assign the weight for each bone yourself. This is useful if you're doing something just like a hat, I guess. You know, you can just go find the bone that's closest and then weight paint however much of the object you want to that. I'm not sure what this does. Yeah, I'm not sure what that does. And with automatic is what I usually do, because it'll do a pretty good job with just setting up automatic weights to the armature. And you can see that we'll we're in edit mode, we'll go into pose mode, and we'll just kind of like rotate that up. See, it did a pretty good job just with automatic weights with that alone. So if that's what you're looking for, that's all you need. Just keep in mind one thing is that if you're going from Blender into Unity and you have these, you know, armatures or these rigs, if you're going to make clothing for, or, you know, accessories, body parts, whatever your system is, they have to have the same armature if they're going to share objects between each other. So that's important. That's something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that you should probably always use the same file type. If you go with a .blend character and have FBX clothing, I've had issues with that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it goes crazy and doesn't work whatsoever, so keep that in mind. Don't freak out if that's the issue. Just try to keep them the same. The reason being is that it reorders the bones depending on whatever file type you're using sometimes. So if there's like an issue, sometimes it'll totally reorder them. So you'll have the same amount of bones, they'll all be named the same, but they just won't match up together. So that's something to keep in mind. So, all right, for the next video, we will kind of match this to the armature a little bit better and do some things to make sure it looks good in Unity. And that's about it. So I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.